In this video, I'll be teaching you a theory lesson on the key of G and how you can transpose it into Nashville numbers. What's up, guys? Jonathan Bauver from the Worship Room here with you today. Hey, don't forget to subscribe to our channel by clicking the button in the right-hand corner. And while you're at it, click on that bell. That way you'll get our latest video when it comes out. Don't be afraid to leave us a comment or two. Let us know how we did. Give us a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't, and let us know how we can serve you. So my goal for making this video is to help all of you worship leaders, musicians, and singers that serve in local churches and ministries be able to grow in your understanding about how a particular key works. And in today's case, we'll be looking at the key of G. And then use that knowledge to be able to transform the way that we flow in worship using the Nashville number system. The Nashville number system simply gives each chord that is in a particular key a number. These numbers range from 1 to 7. The reasons someone would use the number system is so that when playing live, you can give hand signals as to what chords you're playing, as well as flow into other songs without having to use chord charts. The Nashville number system also allows you to be able to have one set of chord sheets for each song, compared to having multiple chord sheets in different keys. If you learn the number system in all 12 keys, you will no longer need to have multiple chord sheets, but just one chord sheet with numbers on them. But before we can implement the number system in a particular key, we must look at the foundational structure that gives us our numbers. I'm going to be using a keyboard to show you all the notes that are in the key of G. We call this the major scale. Each key has a major scale, and there are 8 tonic notes. So the key of G goes like this: G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and back to G. These notes are comprised of a particular pattern of whole steps and half steps that we use to make up a major scale. And this pattern is the same in every key. If you don't understand this or would like to learn more about how the pattern for a major scale works, I've gone ahead and made a video for that, and I'll put it in the description box below. So now that we've identified the notes that are in the key of G, we will now give each note a number starting with G all the way up to F sharp. We will count numerically up until we reach F sharp. Just so you know, the key of G has one sharp, and that's F sharp. So G equals 1, A equals 2, B equals 3, C equals 4, D equals 5, E equals 6, F sharp equals 7. Now that we've identified the notes and given them numbers, now we can begin to build chords off these tonic notes. But certain numbers are either going to be a major chord or a minor chord. So to do this, we have to remember that 1, 4, and 5 chords are always going to be a major chord. And the 2, 3, and 6 chords will be minor chords. Now, there are exceptions to these rules because music can be altered and expressed in all kinds of different ways, but for the purpose of what I'm trying to teach you today, we need to remember this rule. So let's go through each of the notes and turn them into chords, as well as identify the chords that they are. G, which is 1, and it's major. A, which is 2, and it's minor. B, which is 3, and it's minor. C, which is 4, and it's major. D, which is 5, and it's major. E, which is 6, and it's minor. F sharp, and it's diminished. Now that we know the chords that are in the key of G, as well as the Nashville numbers that go with them, and we know that 1, 4, and 5 are major, 2, 3, and 6 are minor, we can begin to read the numbers on a chord sheet. Let's look at the song Our God, and let's transpose it together. So we have E minor, which is 6. We've got C, which is 4. We've got G, which is 1. And then to give it a little bit of style, we're going to do a walk down to 5/7, which is a D with an F sharp bass, so 5/7. So, our God is greater, our God is stronger, God, you are higher than any other, our God is healer, awesome in power, our God, oh our God. So as you can tell, we can use hand signals to tell each other what chords we are playing, as long as we know what given key that we're in. If the worship leader knows the chords to a particular song, but doesn't have a chord sheet in front of him, he can use hand signals to flow into whatever song that he might want to lead in. Now, I said earlier, there are some exceptions to our rules for certain Nashville number chords being major or minor. I want to take a second and talk about inverted chords. Inverted chords or slash chords let us know that a particular chord can be changed to get a little bit of a different sound out of it. For example, the 3 chord is always minor, but we can invert it to a 1/3. And in the key of G, it would be a G over B, or a G with a B bass. This helps the chord, which again, we're using this to cover a minor chord, to sound a little bit more major while also holding down that third tonic note in our major scale. Basically, we're changing the bass note of the chord. When we see a slash chord on our chart, we play the number or letter on the left as a chord, and the number or letter on the right as the bass note or root note in the chord. G over B, or 1/3 in the key of G, means I play G and add a B as the bass note to the G chord. And I can use that to invert my 3 minor chord. I can do the same with a guitar. But with a guitar, I'm just reconfiguring the chord. Now, there are a bunch of inverted chords that we can do in the given key that we are playing in. So we have in the key of G, we have a 1/3. We have a 1/5. We have a 4/6. And we have a 5/7. I also want to take a second and talk about the 7 chord in our major scale. Now, technically, the 7 chord is a diminished chord, but very rarely do we see it used in worship music. So when I signal to play a 7, about 99% of the time, it will mean playing a 5/7. There will be a few instances where it could mean playing a major chord or a flat 7 chord, but for right now, we will just stick with 5/7. The reason that I share this with you today is so that you can be aware there may be some variances to the rule of 1-4-5 being major chords and 2-3-6 being minor chords. Some worship songs use the 3 minor chord, and while others use a 1/3. So my challenge to you today is to memorize the number system for the key of G. Make note of what numbers are major and minor, and then also be aware that there are some inverted chords that help us make things sound different. Take this knowledge, try it out with a couple of different songs that are written in the key of G. Thank you so much for joining me with this lesson. Be sure to check out my other videos where I dive into what the other 11 keys look like.